Season's off the rails. Teams 3 and 4. Head coach is fired. How could it get any worse? You're about to find out. Grab your pencil and your paper. It's the obligatory PSU pregame show. You want to host?
No, absolutely not.
That's like 10th season, 10th anniversary, throwback to season 1. You want to host?
Even less of a reason to do it.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'll do it instead. Welcome back, everybody, to the obligatory PSU pregame show. We're here at Happy Valley Live. We're getting as revved up as we possibly can for the Ohio State game that I have perhaps anticipated the least in the last decade. But here we are. I'm fake host, Chris Buchignani. Glad to have both of our resident lettermen on hand. Age before beauty. We'll start with you, former NFL and Penn State defensive tackle Brandon Noble. Good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in the way that the season's gone, but I'm happy to be here.
Indeed.
Yeah. Free beer.
Former Penn State offensive tackle Landon Tengwall. How you doing, buddy?
Had a lot of beers.
Yeah, there you go.
I've had a lot of disappointment as well. And, you know, those
two go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. And I'm just hoping to see some fight out of the guys this weekend. I just want to see Terry Smith and the boys go out there and give it everything they got in Columbus. Last time that Penn State beat Ohio State in Columbus, they were led by an interim head coach. Shout out Scrap, our guy Tom Bradley. So, hey, let's recreate some of that magic. Fun fact, Luke Fickell was also the interim head coach of Ohio State at the time. So
that may have something to do with it.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
When you look at Wisconsin right now, that may have had something to do with it.
A little different than Ryan Day at the moment.
Well, if
Not
there
to
is
be a buzzkill, but
if there's someone on this panel who understands how disappointment and alcohol consumption go hand in hand, it's Mike The Mailman. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. Listen, I'm very good. Never had a bad day. But I'm going to tell you, you guys, I love all the knowledge you guys have, football knowledge you have. Plus, I love how much beer you guys can drink. I'm amazed at that. I wish I could, but
I love that you are brazenly shit-talking the Buckeyes with your apparel today.
Yeah.
OS who?
OS
who is what his shirt says.
Yeah,
I like it.
And the most beloved man on the internet, Kevin Horne. How you doing, buddy?
Just ready to go 1-0 this week, Chris.
All right.
Penn State football starts with I love you and ends with I love you.
Ohio State, Ohio State,
Yeah.
Ohio State.
Do you think that'll carry on to the next school? I just have to ask.
I think he did do it at Vanderbilt, so probably. And that man does not change. He does not adapt.
football coaches don't do anything different.
No.
We'll see. And now half the football team just walked in to stare at Landon while we're on set.
This will be good because we're about to talk about defensive coordinator Jim Knowles and that offseason hire. Now, because I got a lot I want to talk to you about this. Once upon a time here on the For the Bloggy YouTube channel, you and I did the instant reaction to the hiring.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do.
And
actually, I don't. CTE.
Okay, well, it happened.
I'll just pretend like it didn't happen.
You and I both, brother.
Yeah, so
whatever I said was nonsense.
So let's set the table for the conversation. Let these guys react. But you've watched a lot of tape on this defense from this season. You know Jim Knowles. You know, you've been to coaching clinics with him. You've said before you have a high opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will freely admit, because people can go back and watch the video, I got completely suckered in on the idea that we are in not just an on-field, but an off-field arms race with Ohio State.
Always.
And so both in terms of getting the best replacement for Tom Allen as we head into a presumptive championship contending season, and in terms of the perception about where the program is. Once you declared yourself as a bidder for Jim Knowles' services, you're up against Ohio State, you're up against Oklahoma, another team that came into the season with its eyes on contending for the title. You had to win it. I bought that hook, line, and sinker. Whether the criticism, Brandon, that his defense takes too long to implement is valid or not, here we are. The results have not met the expectations.
No, I mean, they definitely haven't, which is disappointing. And you know, as we hired him and we kind of took him from Ohio State, however you want to say it, the Ohio State fans were very vocal about the fact that, you're going to regret this. It's going to take a while, which kind of makes you think like, all right, if you know this is the year Like, this is the year. You've got to win this year. This is the pinnacle of where you're going to be. Why do you hire a guy that maybe it takes a couple extra years to build your defense around? I felt like when they hired him, though, because of the amount of times the gym had changed programs over the last couple of years. As a coach, you always refine, or you should always refine, right? You should.
Yeah.
So, like, as you learn to install something, it should get easier and easier and easier. Keep it less complicated. Keep it simple. Look, Landon and I are both proof, right? This is not rocket science, right? This is not rocket science. So keep it as simple as possible. And I don't know because I'm not in the room. I don't feel like that's happened. And it's been a little disappointing to see how long it's taken the guys to get into it. And I don't know that they're even into it, right? Because, like, when you watch the tape, they're not playing fast. They're not playing. They're not playing. That's not that they're not playing hard.
Can I just say,
Confident. Sure.
I've never said a bad word about Dom DeLuca in my life, and I think he's an excellent Penn State football player. I am very scared right now. There are people standing off to the side that I recognize, and I've not heard a single word that any of you have said. And
You're on the edge, so you'll get it first.
I'm very, very nervous.
But
I just want to say how much I appreciate the walk-on story and contributions over the last 4 years. And I'm very scared. Landon, please protect me.
He has a sweet mustache.
You can't even get them.
It's been that way for a long time.
I like the stash.
Yeah, good stash.
Let me
Love
say-
the stash, Dom.
This is beautiful because there is a section of, I guess you would have called them fans of this program,
Yeah.
or at least people who are obviously watching it for some reason, hate watching it maybe, who are just delighted on Twitter and in the comment
Watching
section. They're
him
so
feel
happy to see him
uncomfortable.
score.
Absolutely.
I do want to bring it back to Knowles because that is going to be the storyline in this game. Look at you.
That's what I've been forced to.
Well
I didn't
done.
used to drink at all before Penn State football. Maybe because I was 18, but also maybe because this is where I've gotten, so I need some more.
So, Tengwall, this is going to be a storyline coming into this game and probably motivation for Ryan Day to lay it on thick. Otherwise, it might have some pity for the situation Terry Smith finds himself in, that he might pull back. Otherwise, you saw back in the day, Nick Saban took his foot off the gas because he respected Joe Paterno when he knew he had a much better team than Penn State did. I think because Jim Knowles left Ohio State, he was going to be highly motivated to throw everything in the kitchen sink at us late into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I know a couple guys on Ohio State. They are not fond of kind of how that situation ended necessarily. There was because there was the whole talk of the parade, and Jim Knowles was basically out at he was already gone by the parade and all that stuff. And I think knowing Ryan Day and how he is, they're going to try to go after this team. I don't think he really cares too much about Terry Smith. It's going to be personal about Ryan Day and Jim Knowles and how that went down. And our defense is struggling at the moment. Ohio State is far and away the best team. Julian's saying 80% completion rate. 80%?
It's absurd.
Oh my God!
I have no
freshman,
worries. We're going to put Dom DeLuca back in pass protection, and it's going to be just fine, Landon. It's going to be great.
He's coming after Horne.
I can't wait.
I mean, Kevin Hoy, he got, you shrunk down.
That's great.
You saw Dom DeLuca walk in, and it was just, that was the greatest moment of obligatory ever. And I've only been here for a couple years,
There's some
guys.
others.
No, I think it's going to be a tough game. Like I said, this team is far and away the best team in college football, and Penn State is trying to just grasp onto just a little bit of dignity at the moment. So I hope they can come out and try to put something together here. But I am worried about what Ohio State wants to do. There's like an Ohio State podcast, like some of the players run. It's like Sonny Styles and like Caleb Downs, and they've mentioned that they really didn't have great relationships with Jim Knowles and that he didn't really make the effort necessarily. I'm just kind of referencing their podcast. I think there's going to be we want to make a statement here, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit worried about that.
Not worried about Caleb Downs. We got number 0. It's fine. What's kind of funny? There's only been 3 Penn State interim coaches in history, and 2 of them are going to be in the stadium on Saturday.
Larry Johnson.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, sir.
right.
Yeah,
Wait,
people
when was he-
forget that.
wait, educate me. When was he an interim coach?
Larry never coached a game, but he was a brief interim in between OB and James.
Yep. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
When Obi left, that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So we'll get Scrap out there, and we'll get all three of them there in Columbus. Okay, good.
Scrapp's been going to the home games. He's been known to frink with the We Are In.
Yeah.
So if I take anything away from this whole off-season saga with Ohio State's defensive coordinator job, Penn State's, that maybe we can take as a cautionary tale as we're looking to hire the next head coach at Penn State. And Mike, I remember you kind of laughing at me because you smartly do not pay attention to the online chatter
That's right.
the way Horne and I do.
Yeah.
So you did not give a crap about the bidding war and the perceptions of it. Winning the press conference in January does not mean shit
That's
because everybody praised Penn State and Patrick Kraft and James Franklin for swinging for the fences and hiring Jim Knowles and spending the big bucks to go swipe your supposed rival's defensive coordinator. Meanwhile, everyone, especially Detroit Lions and Philadelphia Eagles fans, clowned Ohio State for going out and getting Matt Patricia,
Yeah.
who, again, for the record, as a Birds fan, I still think is a complete clown. And yet here we are, Ohio State replacing a ton of talent that was offloaded to the NFL in the offseason, and they appear to have not missed a beat.
I was gonna say I've watched the tape. It's one of the better defenses of the 2020s. I don't want to go into the 20. I don't remember all that because I was kind of.
They were pretty good last year, too.
They were pretty good. This is one of the best defense of the 2020s already. I'm sure to put that out there for Ohio State.
I mean, again, a lot of that's maybe just Jimmy's and Joe's, man.
That's what I was going to say. So,
Yeah.
there is definitely a difference in the roster.
Yeah.
The other thing is there was a difference in the roster last year. Like when you and I have not watched a ton of Ohio State film this year, but when you watch those guys play, they had 4 absolute dogs on the field that put their hand in the dirt and got after the quarterback and stopped the run last year. They had, and when you've got that as a coordinator, that makes life so easy. So I think there's some of that, right? There's some of that. Hey, like maybe they are just better from a roster perspective. It makes you a better coach. Like it really does. And so I think that we've been a little hamstrung this year with kind of where we are defensively when you talk about Knowles and what he has. But at the same time, I go back to, and this is something that actually just hit me recently, was just like the whole concept of like, you hired a guy that is notorious for taking a couple years to put his defense in the most important year that you've had as a program in, I don't know, since football started, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It's just interesting.
I think what people struggle with, though, is, and I said this coming this season, I apologize to the people that watch my program that I had to hear this, and I lied to you. I didn't mean to. That, I said, hey, coming into Ohio State and Oregon, we're going to have the better quarterback. We're going to have the better offensive line.
I believe
we're
the same
gonna
things, though.
Yeah, we're going to have the better coordinators. We're going to have the better everything. And now coming into that game, obviously, none of that is true, but that's why it's so frustrating.
Other than linebacker.
You feel good because Dom DeLuca left, didn't you?
Maybe.
Look at
He may
you.
be around the corner.
Look at you. Kevin's about to catch a right hook to the jaw. Here we go. But I think that's what's so frustrating is because the expectations for this year was finally Penn State has the better blank. You fill in the blank, whatever it is. We have the better. And we're here
Sob
we are.
story.
Yeah.
We have the
And here
better.
we are. And the answer is no, we don't have the better.
The frustrating part about them is, I mean, they have a real chance to go on like an Alabama type run here, like dynasty wise.
Ohio State?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's harder to do
Absolutely.
because you used to just have to win your conference and then win one more game. Now you got to win your conference and then go to the conference championship game and then win like 4 more games or 3 more games. So it's harder to do. It's harder to win that many in that short period of time.
okay.
They just don't miss. Like it feels like the last quarterback they missed on was like Terrell Pryor, And then when they kind of missed on the kid, Kyle McCord, they're just like, yeah, well, you were merely good, not great, so you're gone.
Then we got Will
Out of
Howard.
Syracuse. And everyone's like, oh, Will Howard. Well, he's like a Big 12 quarterback. He's not that
A
great.
Pennsylvania guy that Penn State could have had.
And then Julian's saying, oh, totally unproven, whatever, backup last year, who knows, not that. Nope, he's a superstar. Now, it helps when you surround yourself with probably the 2 best tight ends in the entire country, Jeremiah Smith and Cornell Tate. That certainly helps. And you have beasts every single place in the field. You can kind of mask a bad quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not saying he's bad. He's certainly not bad. He's better than ours.
No, he's very good.
But
Very good.
they just don't miss. They're so frustrated. They do not miss. And Penn State has been in this weird spot. And this is one, we're going to stop talking about James eventually, maybe never. But you're in this conference where you have just this absolute Death Star year in and year out, right? Probably better than the best team in the SEC most years. And you get your ass kicked by them. And then you have a bunch of terrible, terrible teams that you beat all year in the conference. And that's your schedule. So you didn't really have that many opportunities like an SEC team.
That's fair.
To win games
Big
against like your number 8s, your number 12s, your number 12. Very few opportunities. And I think that really hurt his legacy is the wrong word. But
it also maximizes your legacy because you're not playing against great talent every week.
Yeah, but he could have I think he could have beat great talent a lot of those years. Just not Death Star, elite, dynasty, best ever, Ohio State. We get everything we ever wanted, every player we ever wanted type talent. So, yeah, I mean, obviously they're the best team in college football. It seems like by far, anything can happen any given day, but it seems like this might be a little bit of a runaway this year. And other than, of course, number 0, we're looking for a rough weekend, I fear.
Obviously, you're bouncing back. I'm glad to see that. I'm going to give you a little time to collect yourself. I got the football guys. We're going to talk some football stuff in the next segment, so I'm going to boot you two out.
Please trade me seats, nobody.
And hopefully you're still here when we come back for the third segment. Stay with us.
Oh, that's great.
Happy Halloween, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Whose idea was this? Mike's.
Should we have
I'm going to blame Mike. I'm going to go ahead
I
and
think
put
so.
the blame on him.
He was like, "Yeah, let's dress up, and I'll put on an apron and dress up like a Starbucks person."
That's right.
And you guys look like this.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's good. Look
By
good.
the power of Grayskull, our clock management stinks.
Yes, it's
You
terrible.
have hair. First time in my life I've ever seen you with hair. That's
First and last,
that's
my
great.
friend.
I've seen a couple pictures of him with hair, and it
yeah?
looked very similar to that.
Oh, did
the
it?
real deal. Yeah,
Back in the day?
Back in the
yeah,
day.
it did
No doubt about
for a
it.
short while, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Well, good. This is fun.
It's the dumbest I've ever seen, Mike.
That's it. That's
Dressing up for Halloween is for like toddlers and college women and no one else, for the record.
The hair from my wig is getting in my mouth. That's going to be a problem
That's
throughout
all
this
right.
broadcast.
I can't
Oh,
see.
yeah, I
I
see that.
can't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So
It's
we're all
not,
right.
not a
It's
good
not
time.
good.
Somebody's got to keep an eye on the clock for me as long as I have this mask on because I
that's
can't
right.
see a thing.
Oh,
right
that's
now.
I might need to get one of those for the rest of our season.
I think so. That's
I think
exactly
James
right.
Franklin coaches with that
With
on
one of
his
these
face.
on, is that the problem?
The obligatory PSU pregame show is brought to you by Gold Hen Bloody Mary Mix. Get your bottle today by going to goldhenllc.com. Use the promo code Mailman to get 10% off your order. That's me, the Mailman. That's great. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Can talk some actual football here. Had to boot Mike the Mailman, give him a little time to rest and recover.
And Horne's in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. All right, boys. This season is not what anybody expected or wanted, but it happens
Yeah.
in football. And so my job here is to get this thing started and then get out of the way and let you guys talk to each other and to the audience because you've had the experience. You're in the game long enough. You have a season like this. Everybody's hopeful in the summer, but sometimes you get between the lines and it doesn't go the way you expect. You had some seasons that were not terrible, but were below the high expectations at Penn State while you were here.
Absolutely.
And then definitely when you cut into the NFL.
The NFL was a disaster.
As we have
That's exactly
discussed,
right.
not so
Exactly
good
right.
with those Dallas Cowboys or the Redskins,
Or
as
the
I'm thinking about it.
Redskins, Yeah, this bad.
I feel like we have beaten you up unfairly about that 2021 Illinois game, but
Well, it feels better. We've surpassed the horribleness of that 9 overtime game, even though it's the most overtimes ever in college football history. We've still surpassed that in
until this
terms.
disaster's over, no one's even going to remember
That's
it.
exactly
There we go.
Footnote to a
Yep.
footnote.
There we go.
So talk to me, guys, about what is it like to be a player and to be in a locker room in a season like the one Penn State, unfortunately, is going through right now.
It sucks. Look, at the end of the day,
Thanks. I
Yeah.
think Kevin could have given me that.
That's what I'm here
Mike
for.
the Mailman could have
that's
told me
what
that.
I'm here for, right? That's why I drove all the way up here today. No one at the beginning of any football season, no matter how bad you know you are, believes that you're going to be in this position. you believe you have to believe that you're going to win every game and a champion. Like that's why you do it. Like you play to win, as Herm Edwards said, the game, but like at the end of the day, the whole thing. And I think that one of the challenges as a team, as an organization, as a program, whatever, is like when you run into these things is how do you handle it? And I've been in places like, again, I was here as a redshirt freshman, a red shirt, so I was a freshman and redshirting. Right. And in the 7-5 year, 1992, we'd already signed on to go to the Booze Buster Bowl. We were going to the Big Ten the next year. It was a great class. It was Troy Drayton. It was O.J. McDuffie, Richie Anderson. Like, it was this ridiculous group of football players. And we were terrible. We lost to Miami. The locker room fell apart. Leadership fell apart. It was done. Needless to say, that didn't happen really again. In the NFL, in 1999, I was on the Dallas Cowboys. And at that point, they had won a couple Super Bowls. It was still Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Mike Irvin. I mean, the whole group, right? Larry Allen was there. Like, it was this core group of guys. We went 4-0 to start the season. And then we started losing. Somebody gets hurt, right? Mike Irvin gets hurt in Philly. You lose a couple. Next thing you know, you're 8-8. You go to the wild card, you lose. Leadership goes into Jerry and asks for Chan Gailey to get fired. And I went 5-11 the next 3 years. So it's a hard thing to do. It's hard to go. I give these guys whatever happens this week, next week, to continue to do what you're trying to do from a football perspective in the situation that they're in when you're not used to being in that situation.
Yeah.
Is not an easy thing to do. It's not. And it's even harder. Again, I was in the NFL making not Drew Aller money, but good money, right? You know what I mean? And I was terrified to keep my job, right? So there's a lot of fear-based motivation.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, losing sucks. Because it's not why you do everything that you do.
At the bare minimum, you have that direct point A to point B motivation of, if I don't keep playing, I'm not going to get paid.
Nope.
Next year or the rest of my career.
Week.
Yeah, right. A little bit different, although less and less with each passing year in the college game. But we were talking a little bit before cameras rolled, Tengwall, that you had some experiences in high school with a season that went off the rails, and you observed it in college as well. So again, like, talk me through both the players' experience and just the locker room in general.
Yeah, it was actually both my freshman year. So freshman year, I was at a school called St. Vincent Pallotti in Maryland, in Laurel, Maryland. Blake Corum actually lived at my house for 2 years. Very good friend of mine. And Kozai Izzard, Penn State defensive tackle, he was on that team as well. We went 2-9 in a not very good conference in Maryland high school football, which is very good football in general. I transferred to Good Counsel, top 25 team in the nation, won a lot of games, won championships. That was all good. Come to Penn State, and we come off that 2020 COVID season. And you come into 2021, and the expectations weren't very high. We went to Wisconsin, won week one of actually 4 of James Franklin's wins where he was not favored. Only 4 that happened in his entire career here at Penn State. Just want to put that there. And so we start to build momentum. We're the number 4 team in the nation. We go to Iowa. I think we're up by like 10 or something like that. I wasn't playing. I was holding the clipboard, getting yelled at by the fans.
Nice.
I was called Clipboard Boy. By Ohio State fans, actually.
They're not.
And they're not very nice. So good luck this weekend.
Exactly.
But it all just collapsed. So we remember what happened in 2020 in Iowa. We don't need to talk about it. And it was hard because as much as we did have good leadership, and I talked about PJ Mustipher was hurt at that time. He got actually ACL tear at Iowa.
Yeah.
But it was even with good leadership at the time with Sean Clifford and Jair Brown, a lot of those guys. Jaquan Brisker was on that team. It was hard to salvage because once you start to lose, it just compounds. And it's just like the negative. If there is a cancer in the locker room, it just spreads so easily.
It definitely does.
And that's the hardest part is you have to find a way. And to not let these seasons go off the rails, you have to have strong leadership from the top down. And I know we're talking in past tense, but there was a little bit to play for. So for me, Rutgers in 2021, we have like a flu game. I get to go in. I got to play at Michigan State the next week. I got to play a ton in the bowl game. And there was a light at the end of the tunnel. That next season, you're going to be the starting left guard.
That's
you're
exactly
the guy.
right. Yep.
And I think what's hard about this year right now is there's not really that. I would say, I mean, we don't know for sure, but I would say I would expect upwards of almost maybe 75% of this roster to be gone, majority of the coaching staff to be gone.
That's insane.
And so that's hard to come to terms with. And it makes it a lot easier to say F this. Now, at the same time, because we are in this NIL world, which I was kind of in, but not really, there is a little bit of, I'm playing, if I'm a younger guy, I'm playing for the fact that if I do want to leave here, I want to go get a good contract. I want to go get some real money from another school. So I want to put some good things on tape. So there's that. And then there's still, as much as these guys are making money, there is still a pride factor.
There should be a pride factor.
There's got to be a pride
Christ's sake.
factor.
That's
And
exactly right.
and that was absolutely part of it in 2021. Like I'm playing Arkansas in the Outback Bowl. Outback, by the way, only give us a $20 gift card. They were the sponsor of that bowl. They give us a $20 gift card. I just want to put that out there.
What
I'm
else
sorry.
did you get?
They gave us like a $1,000 stipend, so that was pretty good. And then also they gave you the money to travel to the game.
I think I got a calculator
What?
when I played in the Outback Bowl.
You got a jock strap from the Rose Bowl.
I got a jock
right?
strap
Yeah,
from the Rose Bowl.
yeah.
That's exactly right.
I will say good memories.
Did you guys those? Is that-
No,
is that right?
didn't get a
Yeah.
jock strap. Jock straps have been outlawed since.
Right.
But no, I mean, no, really, it's hard to kind of come to grips with when you think a season. And like I said, as much as the expectation, we were the number 4 team at one point, and that's so hard to deal with as a player because you have these expectations for yourself and for the team, and you fall so short of that. And it's like, how do you come to terms with that? And generally, I look to leadership.
Right.
And as much as I have a ton of, I mean, Terry Smith is the man to rally these troops right now. But it's still really hard. And I think where we're lacking the most is the player leadership. And that was evident from week 1.
I do think it'll be interesting, kind of listening to you talk. In 1994, when I was here, I was young, right? I was a redshirt sophomore, had no business being on the field. Guys got hurt. Next thing I know, I'm a 250-pound nose guard in the Big Ten, right? Not good. But I started like 4 or 5 games at the end of the year. Some older guys came back for the Rose Bowl. The next year in 95, right, you win the Rose Bowl, you go 12-0, you get robbed of a national title. And in 95, it didn't really work well, but like I never, and it was a completely different role, but I never felt that like despair of like the season is over. We lost to Wisconsin. And again, we all know Goon, right? We all know, like that was his senior year. And that group of guys, Bobby Ingram, right? You know what I mean? You had Jeff Hardings, Marco Rivera. You had this ridiculous cast of characters. And they never really let us even think about it. And this is kind of going back to Landon's comment about how important leadership is. And obviously, Joe never let us think about it. And then the next year, my senior year in 96, we go 4-0, I think. We're either 4 or 5 in the country. We go to Columbus, as we are right now, and just get boat raced. Just absolutely mauled, right? Orlando Pace was like picking people up.
You had to play Orlando Pace?
Yeah, and like throwing people. Like I was at 1 technique, right? My 3 technique would end up like way over on the other side of the field. Orlando was just, and it was just like, and Matt Fernandel is one of my favorite people in the entire world. I'm sorry, Matt. But we got benched.
I'll tell you what, Matt Fernando's not going to show up at
he's
the door
not.
waiting.
No, he's not. Nor does he have a
yeah.
sweet mustache like Dom does. But we got benched. Like Joe benched everybody. Like sat the whole first group down. But the thing is, like that year, like we lost to Iowa, but we didn't really. We ended up 11-2 and won a Fiesta Bowl, right? Like you had something to play for at the end. It's just a weird spot right now that we're in because it really has become transactional. It has become a business, and the bigger challenge is like they fired the head coach, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have fired the head coach. But now you're literally everyone in that roster, everyone in the Lash building is a free agent right now. A free agent.
I think that's the hardest part because you have guys, and let's just be realistic and talk about, what this actually looks like. You got a lot of people, not guys, women, everybody in that building that's going home and saying, hey, we got to think about packing up the house.
Absolutely.
We got to think about getting ready to tell the kids that we got to move.
Yep.
The players.
We're going to move.
Yeah, we're going to move. We're going to. And so when that starts to happen, I mean, how easy is it to check out? I think the answer is very easy. So
leadership is important.
Yeah, that's what you start to worry about when you no longer have, as much as we have utmost respect for Terry Smith and what he is doing and trying to rally these troops. We talked about on last week unloading the clip on Iowa, and we did not get it done. Well, it's really easy to go forward and just say, it's hard to. I don't know. It's hard, man.
It's going to be hard. In the NFL, I had a lot of really bad seasons, unfortunately, and it is a challenge. But you said it, Landon, like it's about pride. Like I do think that if you play this game and you have any sort of, if you play it for the right reasons and you have any sort of pride in like kind of who you are as a man, you go play ball, right? And you should love it to an extent, right? Like. No matter what, even when we were 5-10 and I played for the Dallas Cowboys or the Washington Redskins, like I really loved going out there and playing for the guy next to me.
Well, to that point,
you know what I mean?
Let me wrap this segment up on this note, because unfortunately, y'all have not said a whole lot that has lit my pilot light. You took me back, reminded me some of the worst losses in the 90s. Thanks so much for that. And I still got to get us into random number generator.
Exactly.
The point about this should be fun. Yeah. You should enjoy playing football.
Yep.
One thing I have wondered about Tengwall, and again, I'm going to give you the last word on this. As this has become more transactional, like you talk about your high school football experience, I feel like maybe at this point, that is the last bastion of fun left in the game.
Unfortunately.
Because as this has become more and more of a job, look, I don't like that it's true, but most people don't enjoy their job. And these guys look like they're doing a job and they're not enjoying it. Do you think, as somebody who is still close enough to the sport and who lived through playing it at the highest level, as it was making that transition from what it was, or close to what it was when you played, to what it is now, which is like the NFL light, is that capacity even there? Does it remain for these guys to just go out and maybe not do it against the elite competition like Ohio State or Indiana, but like we talked about last week, can they beat Michigan State? Can they beat Rutgers, for God's sakes? Can these guys still have fun playing football at this point?
Yeah, it's hard. Go back to last week. We were talking a bunch about Kenny Jackson, my soon-to-be father-in-law here. And he told me that, he said, when I first got my check in the NFL, I had a ton of fun in college, obviously won a national championship with Todd Blackledge and the crew. He said, when I first got my NFL check, it was no longer fun anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as you get that first check, it's the football, the pureness of it, of why you put on the helmet and the smell of the grass, and the memories of going out there as a 7-8-year-old playing football for the first time. That's all gone. And I think it's hard, and you can point to a lot of different reasons of why this season went the way it went. I think we could sit here for hours and talk about that. We're probably going to here at Happy Valley Live. We're going to go upstairs, get some wings, get some more beer.
We still got the rest of the season left to talk about.
We got a lot more to talk about.
Say.
But when you are getting a huge chunk of your money paid before the season, before even July 1st, forget the season, July 1st, and your money is there. And you start to hear a lot of the team has used the term rat poison, that you are the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you find you are the team, you got the best coach, all that stuff. It becomes easy to believe, and you start to think, all right, well, I've already made it. I mean, imagine being 19 years old and having over $1 million in your bank account.
Disaster. It'd be a total disaster.
I can tell you what I did here.
Yeah, please.
With a $40, I'm not going to. I could tell you with a $40 a month check. And it would make a lot of people blush.
Do you
be arrested right now?
Do you agree with my assessment? And I mean, I was not a football player. I was just a regular old Joe Schmo undergrad. You give me $1 million at that age in state college, I am fully confident I could have made that disappear in less than a semester.
Look, absolutely. Oh, 100%. And in this town, that's hard to do. Well, it used to be hard to do when we were here. Like
I could have done it.
I remember dollar
without
pitchers
difficulty.
at the brewery, quarter drafts, all those things. It's a lot of money. It's hard. I think that I do think, and I'm not making an excuse for this group right here. I do think that as we move forward, just in general, from a college football perspective, as you learn to treat it like a business, it changes.
Yeah.
And that comes from going back to Landon's point, leadership, right? So when I was in Dallas, one of the things that was really big was like I had a lot of older guys, like Emmitt Smith was still there, Darren Woodson, Larry Allen, and it was about being a pro.
Yeah.
That was what they talked about. It wasn't that we were 5-10 or that we were 4, whatever it was. Be a pro. Prepare like a pro. You're putting your resume on tape every time you go out there and put your hand in the dirt, right? And so you hear that and you go, okay, like this is how I stay in this business. And it is a business, right?
Yeah.
And I think the challenge, right, is like we're not there yet from a locker room perspective. Yeah. And this is everywhere, right? This isn't just
absolutely.
Here.
Sure.
This is just college football in general. But eventually, if it continues the way that it is, that's the mindset, right? I'm a professional. This is how I make my living. This is how I pay my bills. I had a wife and kids when I was playing in the NFL, right? Like I had to make these good decisions. I had to play football, whether we were 5-11, 10-5, whatever it was, right? Like you had to go play.
Well, all I know is, again,
we're out of beer.
Yeah,
wing night at the Dark Horse.
That's exactly right.
Nobody would have been paying, eating or drinking, all for free. Right. So these guys, if they get to the end of it with more than a zero in the bank account, they're ahead of where you and I would have been.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I appreciate you both, honestly. Thanks for sharing the insight. It was, interesting to me. I think it'll be great for the audience. There's only so much we can offer up in the middle of a season like that.
Yeah.
And again, I thank you for sharing, because I think the perspective you bring is one of those. And unfortunately for all involved, I got to bring my other two fellow dopes back, and we got to randomly generate numbers.
Unfortunately.
We'll be right back.
Random Number Generator is brought to you by the good folks at ANTIFRAGILE Brewing Company. ANTIFRAGILE is the official beer supplier fueling the obligatory pregame show. ANTIFRAGILE brews incredible beer we all enjoy and recommend. And check out their Moody Culture Kombucha and fill up on Uncle John's Jawn's cheesesteaks. Check them out when you're in Happy Valley at 324 East Calder Way, or anytime at antifragilebrew.com.
Sorry, everybody. We're playing Ohio State, and we have to do Random Number Generator. So we're going to do it. We're going to predict the score of this game. We're in the middle of a lost season. We're coming off a bye week. We are facing one of the best teams in college football, maybe the best team. And we have, for all intents and purposes, nothing to play for. I wish I could paint a prettier picture for you.
That's as bad as it gets.
But it's a real one. It's where we're at. Should I begin or end with Mailman? Because we know where he's going.
Start with me.
Okay, go.
You want to go first?
45-10. Ohio State.
Penn State, right?
Ohio State. I'm sorry. They're a Death Star. I mean, they are. It's what it is. That is the most appropriate term that you can give them. They're just ridiculously good, and we're in a bad spot. It's not what I want. Look, I went out there and got boat raced my senior year. We were the 5th ranked team in the country and lost 35-10 or something like that.
And sometimes it just gets away from you too, because that was a really good Penn State team.
Yeah.
But you go out to the horseshoe and bad things happen. Penn State, as I've said many times,
terrible place.
Two times since we have joined the Big Ten, Penn State's won out there. 2008, and then interim head coach Tom Bradley.
There's no worse city in America than Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, it's not great.
That's not true.
No, nope.
I've been in some bad ones.
I've been in some bad places too. It's the worst place I've ever been. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I have a good memory being in Columbus. The only time I've ever been in Columbus, Chase Young, good friend of mine, he forced Larry Johnson to offer me out back of his apartment as a freshman in high school. Greatest memory.
That's fair.
It's my greatest recruiting memory in my life.
That's fair.
So I'll just take this one from the fake host, Chris Buchignani.
I like that.
So I actually enjoyed Larry Johnson because that's all I knew him. He recruited my area.
Awesome.
LJ's a great guy.
One of the best.
I'll go.
Not here.
I'll go 49-3. Ohio State. Yes, this is the best defense in America. I'm almost certain they're allowing, especially after they shut out Wisconsin, I think they're allowing under 10 points. I'm almost certain it's under 7 points,
it's ridiculous.
actually. I think it's under a touchdown per game they're allowing. I really worry about how we're just going to be able to functionally attack this team. They obviously have very good wide receivers in Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith, and like I said, a quarterback that is sitting at an 80% completion rate. But I don't even know if I've ever heard of that.
line that absolutely moves people.
Oh, their offensive line is fantastic. Should probably in the running for the win, winning the Joe Moore Award.
Yep.
So
If he went practically transparent in the first segment, that's what you guys are making me do.
no, I mean these are two guys that we're going to turn on the film, and I'm hoping. I just want to see some fight out of these guys.
Yep.
But I am naturally, I don't want to see it, but I'm a little worried that if you get down quick, that you just start to kind of give up there.
Yep.
And
It's hard.
that naturally can happen.
And the revenge factor there for Ryan Day, just putting his foot on the accelerator to show up Jim Knowles.
I mean, what wasn't it when him and Jim Harbaugh, like the COVID game, and he was like, I'm gonna hang 100 on you effers? Wasn't
Yes.
that, it was like, that was the quote?
Yep.
I feel like that is how Ryan Day is going to act against Jim Knowles, because clearly there is supposedly, allegedly, possibly a little bit of bad blood there.
Now you also got me thinking about how different college football history would be had Jim Harbaugh not pretended that his roster had COVID and not
that
game.
That was crazy, by the way. That was crazy.
They 100%. They faked that. They faked that COVID so they didn't have to get their ass kicked by Ohio State.
Yeah.
And he would have gotten fired when that happened.
Yep.
Crazy. All right. Mike, I got to save you for last, buddy. I got to take us out on a positive. OS Who note.
Thank you.
Before I go to Horne, I'm going to give him a little bit more time to collect himself and his thoughts. You guys both picked blowouts.
Yeah.
To just avoid demoralizing embarrassment, if it's even possible, what would be necessary?
Run the ball. Yeah. Take the air out of the game, right? Like literally control the clock, keep their offense off the field, keep our defense off the field, hand the ball
To Jackson Smolik.
Yes. Sure.
Dip deep into the history of fired offensive coordinators
Exactly.
at Penn State. Bring back the Kirk Shiraka, use 40 seconds off the play clock every single time.
But
offense.
literally do that. Go out there early on the game. Don't put Gronk in a position where he has to throw the football. Don't run the football. Stay ahead. Win on first down. Whatever that, which is literally 4 yards. If you get 4 yards on first down, you win.
And run that clock. Run that clock.
I think the method is what Nevada and FIU used against us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly
I am
right.
so sad saying that. That's our method against Ohio State. But take as much time off the clock as you can. Shrink the game is essentially the idea.
Look,
Run the
this
ball.
season is it's a wash. This season is a wash. So whatever
can
you
I
can
just say,
do,
like, can you believe that we're sitting here right now? And this was the season. It was proved for James Franklin. It was, we have the greatest roster, the best coaching staff in America. And you're saying, and we are all saying, just try to run down the clock against Ohio State so it's not that bad.
James called it surreal. He was right.
can I tell you that the saddest thing is in a certain way, yes. I can't believe it.
Being an Eagles fan, like it's
Just being real about what I've watched unfold in the Nittany Valley over many years. What do you got, Horne?
Well, look, they're going to have 2 weeks to game plan for DeLuca. Okay. So I think after the second interception, they start going away from him.
You keep looking.
And
You keep looking for no right there.
and obviously the interception is going to happen, and we're not going to score because he's not on offense. He can't be both. So I'm going to say 52-0 Buckeyes. It'll be just like that. I think it was 2012 we went there. No, 2013. 2011 we won. 2013 we went there and just got. I think they scored in every possession. Just got our doors blown in the peak of the sanctioned teams. So I'm going to say 52-0. That sounds about right. There's like a 1% chance we do the funniest thing ever. You never know. Oblong ball, but let's be real. Once they figure out to go away from that guy,
okay,
it's over.
So here we go. Thank you.
You've
for that
become quite the
analysis.
Don DeLuca fan, by the way, might I say. Quite the Don DeLuca fan.
I think it's fair to say that
Wait,
if only Drew Aller was still healthy, right?
Oh, the West
If only
Pistons,
Drew Aller
right?
was
The
12, he was
Yeah,
very,
West-
very different.
West Pistons is a nice area.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony Rojas getting hurt
It
was a
is.
blessing
Yeah,
in
it is.
disguise, ultimately, it seems
Yeah.
like.
Okay. So at the beginning of this, our improbable 10th season, which in many ways seems less explicable to me than where Penn State is right now. I said to Mike, I may never get a chance to credibly pick us to go 12-0 again. So even though I don't really believe it, I'm going to do it just so I have that chance here in the 10th season. Well, I don't know that I am ever going to get to say what I'm about to, which is that back in 1964, 3-4 Penn State went on the road and upset, not only upset, but shut out
Ohio State.
number 2 Ohio State. And they put a VW bug in the duck pond in front of University House. So keeping with my theme of predicting things that I do not in any way, shape, or form believe are going to happen, but I'm going to do it because it's my last chance to do it on camera. I don't think it's going to be a shutout, but I think history will repeat itself. Again, first as tragedy, then as farce. It's a second Karl Marx quote in 3 weeks on this program, which seems appropriate. I got the Nittany Lions, 34-33. Mike the Mailman, take us out.
Well, you know, this is like this would be Terry Smith's job. He'll get the job now, Terry Smith.
Damn right, he better get the job.
He'll get the job after Penn State wins by 5 this weekend. And he'll definitely get the job.
Well, you know what's interesting? If we beat Ohio
Give him
State,
the Alabama job if he wins by 5.
Mike the Mailman, if we beat Ohio State, then Indiana jumps to number 1, so we get to play the number 1 team back-to-back weeks. So back-to-back number 1 win.
Absolutely, he's there. We're there.
Yes,
we got it.
We're the best team in America.
Lions.
1-0.
1-0.
Playing 2 number 1 teams in a row. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. That's good for
They said
morale.
the schedule was terrible. That's a great schedule.
2
Take
quarterbacks.
care of yourselves and each other. We are